Imagine you're riding your motorcycle with the camera on your helmet to collect nice pictures, and during your ride, you cross the path of a huge snake. This is what happened to this biker who couldn't believe his eyes when he saw the snake on his way. To make sure he hadn't had a hallucination, he turned back and actually found the reptile, which surprisingly, because of the noise of the motorcycle, got scared and went to hide in the bush. The driver would never have been able to film such a thing if he hadn't had a GoPro on his head. Amazing! By the way, today we're going to show you some other incredible footage that was accidentally filmed and that no one was supposed to see. Here we go! The female avatar. In this sequence, you'll really wonder if you're in your right mind or if you're suffering from hallucinations. In any case, the man who took this woman on video also asked himself the question when he accidentally spotted this strange character passing near his car. And he wanted to share the scene so as not to look like a madman. Indeed, we can clearly see that the woman looks very much like the characters of Avatar. The long and pointed ears, the thin and elongated nose finding its space between the eyebrows, and extremely white skin and huge eyes. The worst part is that the woman doesn't seem to be wearing a mask, since her rather loose dress clearly shows her shoulders and neck. Is it a fake, hidden camera, or is it a real alien woman? Nobody can answer this question. In any case, one thing is sure, it is that when she fixes you off the glance, she gives shivers. Hello, plumber? Scott studied marketing for a long time, but unfortunately his career in this field was not so brilliant. So one day he simply decided to convert and use his handyman skills for useful and financial purposes. That's how he became a plumber. However, there was no way he was not going to use the knowledge and skills he had learned during his years of study to build a solid business case for his company. On his truck, Scott had an advertising poster pasted representing the bottom half of a man sitting on a toilet. And guess where he stuck it? On the driver's door, right where he is sitting, so that the upper half of the body is his and everyone who sees the truck drive by gets the impression that Scott is sitting on a toilet. Of course, this is just a way to attract attention and make people laugh. In any case, it is successful since it does not go unnoticed at all. For someone who knows more about plumbing than marketing, it's a great job. An alien on the road. We can find everything on the internet, we agree, but there are videos that look so real that we wonder if they are not authentic, especially when it comes to paranormal videos. Today we're going to show you an amazing video that comes from Hazaribagh in Jharkhand. It was taken by a cyclist who was riding his bike and thought he saw a strange figure on his way, which does not really look like an ordinary man. As you can see, the figure is walking on the road in the darkness of the night. After it was published on the internet, many claimed that it was a ghost, while others thought it was an alien. What do you think? School absenteeism. Who says we shouldn't have fun at school? Well, these girls have realized that there are better things to do at school than sitting in an uncomfortable chair all day and taking classes that are not very interesting. On the playground, there is plenty to do to have fun. While everyone else in the school was in class taking very boring classes, these two girls decided to go to the playground and act out the joke. One of them spotted a couple of signal cones, flipped them over, and used them as shoes. All this for what? To walk with them like when you use stilts. Except she'll find it so funny that she'll be caught in a fit of laughter. Helped by her friend, the girl will try to walk with these cones while trying not to fall. I hope their principal doesn't see these pictures, but even if he does see them and punish them for playing hooky, they will have had a very funny time, and that's what counts. Surprise mom! There are all kinds of silly kids. There are those who write on the walls, those who spread chocolate paste on their bodies, others who destroy everything in sight, and there are those who have gone to the next level. This little girl, who is only 2 years old, was very original. While her mom was watching TV in the living room, she went out in the backyard to find a huge snake and bring it back to her. I won't describe the mother's reaction. I'll let you watch it.
Please. Please, no.
If the mom was stunned by the reptile, the little girl didn't seem that scared. What I find very strange is that the person filming the scene doesn't seem to be worried about the little girl either. I hope at least that it's a non-venomous snake and that she's still alive. I'm talking about the mom, of course. A real little warrior. Eggs in the same basket. Knowing how to cook is an art, but first you need to know the basics. Knowing how to cook eggs, for example, and not breaking them. This man was cooking at home. He had to make an omelette, not very complicated at first sight, except that he was going to take a tray of eggs, take one and put it on the work surface next to the frying pan, and then put the tray back in its place. Except that an egg is round and rolls, so this one started to roll and was close to falling and crashing on the floor. Fortunately, the man had the reflex to save it in extremis, but the problem is that the man had more reflexes than he needed, because to save the little egg, he mechanically dropped the tray that contained the 20 or so eggs. Of course, the eggs did not survive the fall. Horrified by what he had just done, the man got angry and deliberately smashed the egg that was left in his hand against the ground. Anyway, he might as well spend his nerves on the poor egg. He wasn't very proud of himself. Well, tonight it will be a mushroom omelette without eggs. A brigand ejected. The man you see in this car was arrested for a crime. The police naturally handcuffed him and put him in the back of the car to transport him to the police station. Except that during the whole trip, he will do everything to free his hands and to escape from the vehicle. But it seems that it was his lucky day, because the unthinkable happened. At one point, the driver of the police car will without explanation lose control of his vehicle to find himself on the side of the road, roll over and violently hit a pole. Because of the impact, the thief will be ejected by the rear windshield because this one broke in 1,000 pieces. The robber finally got what he wanted and found himself free. A little stunned, but free. 4 years old and already a hero. It's true. Usually it's the children who get you into trouble or into strange situations. They are the ones who often find themselves in dangerous situations and are saved by their parents. But in this sequence, the opposite is going to happen. This woman was clinging to a wall while doing repairs, and because of a false move, she dropped the ladder on which she was resting her feet. Her child, barely 4 years old, was playing next to her. As soon as he saw that his mother was hanging in the air, the boy didn't think for long. He went to pull up the ladder that was far too heavy for this small child's muscles. He put all his efforts into lifting the ladder and putting it back under his mom's feet, who was close to falling and breaking. I think he deserved a good ice cream. No phone calls while driving. We can't say it enough. No phones while driving. Unfortunately, there are some people who don't understand this rule. And, even worse, who use 2 phones instead of 1. This M4 truck driver, for example, was spotted on the freeway by the Avon and Somerset police in England, talking on his phone while driving. He was filmed as part of Operation Tramline, aimed at monitoring dangerous driving. The 44-ton goods lorry was traveling along a stretch of the M4 eastbound between J17 and J18. The worst part is that he was using both phones at the same time, so he had both hands off the wheel. So, who was holding the wheel? Of course, the driver got a £200 fine, and it must have hurt like hell. He saves his mother. This child is a real hero. It's true that few people would see their mother in a dangerous situation and not remain indifferent, but he had exceptional composure. His mother had just entered the pool, and a few seconds later, she was taken by an epileptic seizure, which made her start to convulse and thus could not move. She eventually lost her footing and started to drown. but her 10-year-old son immediately jumped into the water to save her from drowning. The dog alerted the father, who came to the rescue of his wife. Once the crisis was over, the panic-stricken mother hugged her husband, while the terrified child was just beginning to realize what had happened. An exceptional gesture for such a young child. An incendiary pee. We understand that sometimes sudden and pressing urges take us at inopportune moments, and that by chance, in these moments we do not find a toilet nearby. This young man was filmed by the surveillance camera of the factory where he works, or rather worked. Passing the time and lingering at work, having no desire to lift the huge rollers. Taken by a pressing need, he will want to pee but will not bother to go to the toilet. He went to a corner where several rolls were piled up one on top of the other to start relieving himself, except that as he obviously did not know the base of his job, he forgot that it was flammable material, which as soon as it was in contact with the urine caught fire, and the latter did not take long to spread as fast as lightning. The young man panicked and ran away. Unfortunately for him, the urge was strong is not an excuse to clear him of this act. We do not pee on the goods we were charged to transport.